and gentlemen, the queen of spoken word, Sunni Patterson.
Oh, look at everybody. I love it. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. The blues. Man, look at you. Look at y'all. Peter. All my people. Get started. We always like to honor our ancestors. So we'll do that now. Great mighty ancestors, you are breath. You are bridge. You carry us over tumultuous time. You who can hear and answer with quick remedy. You are ready before we ask. You who can speak through tongues of trees and fire and water. This earth cannot hold you. We pound the ground and you appear, O ancient ones. You who can make lightning strike with the flick of a skirt. You who can make tornado turn with the spin and span of hips. Take us there to the place of knowing, to the hall that leads to the doorway of you, O holy ones. You of the first light. You who know the potential of possibility pulsing in the dark. Deliver us unto our gifts. You who have sunlight in your fingertips, touch our drums, make us hear the rising, make us move a steady stump, a choir of voices so majestic. Heaven hides us in a tapestry of light, or we are stars, blankets of wonder, sky bright eyes, seeing the invisible, visible. You who have returned, you have turned our faces so that we see ourselves, and we have found you again in places we would have never imagined. You make our limits infinitely long, our visions clearer with eyes closed, and even there, you still stand in full color, vibrant and eager to serve. Giving thanks. From Brooklyn, Stephen Willis.
Good evening, class. No, I'm going to need you to talk back to me. I said, good evening, class. Good evening. Now, perhaps I should start this poem by informing you that I am bilingual. That the Queen's English that I speak so eloquently before you now is not my first language, no. My grandmother never used such diction when she spoke me up in the welfare line amongst the other dwellers. Or when she called down to me from the project window, no, we spoke almost Southern fried English. This rhetorical recipe has been in my family for generations, Grandma say. Big Mama hid it under her tongue, and she had it for northern cities during the Great Migration. See, scholars call it African-American vernacular English, but my guys, they call it slang. The man calls it Ebonics. I call it America's Creole. The last remaining squad birthed from a European and African pidgin turned into the dialect of the doughboys. The bass that appears in a rapper's rhythmic rhetoric spoken everywhere from the trap house to the liquor store. From the HIV testing clinic to the bus stop, Ebonics is the official language of the undefined black culture. The native tongue to the underrepresented black American. And long before I received liberal art degrees and stood unopposing in academic settings, I was born on the south side of Chicago and managed to garner up enough street cred from the School of Hard Knocks to qualify me to teach you all a few of my language's essentials. So hipsters, hope you have your notepads ready, because this is Ebonics 101. Chapter 1. Any English word that holds an I-N combination with an I becomes an A. Like Billie Holiday couldn't sing, that girl could sing. If Martin did all that walking, I wonder if him feet stank. Traveled all the miles just to hear freedom rang. I wonder what he was thinking. Chapter 2. Any English word that holds an O-R combination with the R sound becomes silent. Like Emmett screaming, don't beat me no more. Like Rodney screaming, don't beat me no more. Like Trayvon asking, what is you following me for? Chapter 3. Any English word that holds an ER combination with an ER becomes an A. Like in the great quote from the linguistic scholar, Miss Lauryn Hill, And even after all my logic and my theory, I add a motherfucker so you ignorant niggas hear me. See, there's culture in these words. The bended back of my speech comes from years of carrying the black experience. The rural diaspora of Africa shakes our spine. We cross our T's with the middle passage, dot our I's with strange fruits, curve our S's with mid-Atlantic roots. You cannot expect us to be slaves to your phonetics forever. And just like our history, we will defy the structure of your Jim Crow grammar, refuse to speak within the lines of your Mason-Dixon diction. You cannot correct this, context this, connotate my accomplishments. See me be black, male, use double negative to make positive. He will write into the black story no longer subsists. He will write into the clenched pen synonymous with a clenched fist. He will write into the black male is able to live, be, exist, class dismissed.
Many poets have had to endure adversity and opposition in the midst of fulfilling their dreams. Kyla Jenee Lacey knows all about it.
Working for yourself is, difficult when you're trying to buy a house, but I was able to do it, and I wanted to make sure that when I bought this house that I had room for people who were traveling poets, especially for female poets, knowing how difficult that is. I have this wall in my house. When you first come in the door, it's basically benedictions and blessings and people who've come and stayed here, and they sign the wall and they, give me blessings and, well wishes.
From Orlando, Florida, Kyla Jenee Lacey.
We learned your English. We learned your Spanish, your French, your Dutch, your Portuguese. You learned our nothing. You called us stupid. That's white privilege. And I'm sure it probably hurts for you to hear those two words, kind of like gunshots and explosions from those commissioned to protect you, whisking past your ears. What is white privilege? It is the only 5 decades of legal acknowledgement expected to correct 400 years of white transgression. It is crack versus cocaine, blacks receiving almost 20% longer sentences for the same exact offenses. Or like, for instance, a black man without a record is less likely to get a job than a white felon. Well, maybe it's because we're lazy and we don't work hard enough. Like, what the fuck? 400 years in the same field literally is an incredible resume builder. It is Katrina answering the government's prayers of eugenics, Dick Cheney going fishing the next day, Condoleezza on a shopping spree, Bush in San Diego, but Kanye is the one you call crazy because, it only took the USA 2 days to get aid to Asia, but 5 for FEMA to get to Canal Street and Esplanade. It is the one black kid who beat the shit out of the odds, but only thanks to Sandra Bullock, Michelle Pfeiffer, and the White Shadow, so now we all can make it. It is the only time thousands of white people are cheering for the black kid to win is in a stadium. It is you looking at me crazy if I told you to go back to Europe, even though we didn't have a say, and your great-grandparents came here voluntarily. It is you, all of a sudden having a problem with immigration like this isn't even your nation. How the hell do you discover some shit? How the hell do you discover some shit that wasn't even missing to begin with? You've Columbus our traditions. Had white girls twerking in high definition with multicolored hair and purple nails, but it was ghetto when we did it. Oh, am I making you uncomfortable? Try a cramped slave ship. But wait, slavery is over now. It's just called the prison system because, you're not racist because you don't use the N-word, but y'all use niggas every day. What is white privilege? Is the acceptance of bombs over Baghdad but not over Boston? Is European history being taught as a major and African as an elective? Is learning about my people only 28 days like I'm not black every fucking second as every white boy? What the fuck, my brain's out? Not because I'm pretty, because I'm pretty for a black girl. It is people thinking that Africa is one nation. It is the waving of the Confederate flag like you didn't lose the battle and then telling us to get over slavery. It is people saying that black people destroyed neighborhoods, but forgetting that white people have destroyed continents. It is every time I bring up my plight, some white man has to tell me that I'm crazy, but is kind enough to praise my English or say that we're all given the same opportunities, even though he has a family history of wealth, and I don't even know my family history at all. It is the justification of police brutality. Like, what did that person do? Well, I'm sure it doesn't hurt as much when the victim doesn't look like you. It is the justification of police brutality, like what did that person do? Well, I'm sure it doesn't hurt as much when the victim doesn't look like you. It is people thinking that affirmative action is an unfair advantage instead of keeping the qualified from being unfairly disadvantaged or throwing out a qualified applicant because their name sounded too African-American is Newports imported into black communities, but black boys exploited for weed as big plastic asses that are called fat when we naturally have them. And it's an Australian woman whose new classic of rap music, and it's everyone who hears this poem, dismisses all this truth I just spit as reverse racism. That is white privilege. Thank you, New Orleans.
From New Orleans, Louisiana, Akeem, Olaj.
In the name of my Creator, I pray. Dear Mother on earth, maker of all things, me, made me believe in white God, but honestly, everything I learned about him, I see in you. So forgive me for thinking that you are God, Mother. I learned of your love, how shepherds, all my brothers, will write about the commandments in your house, how you only had 7. Thou shalt not eat in your room, lest you get roaches. Thou shalt keep no dirty clothes in bedroom. Thou shalt leave no dirty dish in kitchen, or she will wake that ass up. Thou shalt not go into the frontmost living room. It's called the president room. You only could go in if you're the president. Thou shalt not have sex under her roof. Thou shalt not let her know you got your girlfriend pregnant in high school under her roof. Thou shalt not bring home no man talking about that's my boyfriend. I was 17 years old when I told my mother I was bisexual. Her response, when my male cousin raped me as a child, I must have liked it. My mom once told me I was her favorite son. I guess she was upset that she thought a queer black man was Jesus, but on this day, she acted like I was Lucifer at the front gates of her heaven, acted as if when her best friend's daughter molested me when I was 6, that trauma was a prayer answered instead of my damnation, acted as if a boy forced to lick a woman in her privates while she's on her period is supposed to be a pearling gates to manhood, as if my body was a baptismal pool meant to clean family of their sin whenever they decide to bathe in it. The day I told my mother I was bi, she stopped eating the food that I cooked. The way that homophobia works in New Orleans, she didn't want my gayness to leak into the red beans come Monday. The day I told my mother I was bi, she Sodom and Gomorrah my childhood, so when I looked at my past, I would always turn into a pillar of salt. Told me I need the house of some other Lord, that I would catch AIDS and die. Never embarrass this family. Don't let anyone know. She's gonna take me to a psychologist to fix me. And if I don't agree, don't even bother coming home. You know they say a mother is the first God a child will ever know. But on this day, I became an atheist. Thank you.
A poetic bridge between the streets and mainstream America, Georgia Me has been featured all over the world, and she continues to be an advocate for the causes that affect our community.
It is my honor to represent the streets and our community, to be the apex for our community. I'm not just the streets, I am culture, I am the country, I am a woman who is black in America. So it's my honor and my duty and my mission to represent the so-called gutter, because who else can with grace and dignity and bring out what is excellent about the hood. The hood is not just what the so-called people think it is and the worst aspects of it. It is where invention comes from. It is where the art comes from. You get so much from where I'm from, so it's my honor to do so. And it needs to be done by somebody who's a G, not a lame. You know, too many times people who aren't from where I'm from represent us. I am extremely honored to be a staple member here at the Apache Cafe, world famous for over 20, 30 years. When it was Yin Yang, now it is Apache. One of the longest running open mics for poets in the world, actually. It has birthed not only Georgia Me and your abysses and been a poet laureate like someone like Red Storm, who here every Sunday night. You've also had CeeLo Green and Bone Crusher and India Ari. We're really excited here at Apache to continue the legacy of this beautiful, amazing venue that just, allows all the arts to be expanded.
From Atlanta, Georgia, Georgia Me.
What's up, Nolans? I'm not gonna have a bitter, broken-hearted bitch night. You know what I'm saying? You know how hoes do that. So we gonna pray for what we want. So this is not a poem. This is a prayer. Be specific what you ask God for. Do you hear me? Because that nigga is funny. He gonna give you exactly what you asked for. You go to God and you say, God, bring me a man that'll bring me closer to you. Put me in his word. Take me to church. But the nigga won't work. Y'all know that nigga? Or you say, God, send me a man that's pleasing to my eye. Because you don't want to wake up next to an ugly nigga. Then you start your day off bad. You got road rage. Don't nobody like you at your job. So I wrote this poem for the nigga that I want. And I don't think that I'm asking for too much. It is called Ground Rules. Brother, will you help me take off these shoes so I can get comfortable? They cute. These at the shoe show, ladies, for $34.99. Help a hoe, don't hurt a hoe. Do you hear me? Don't talk about if her shoes ain't right. Tell her where to go. Help a hoe, don't hurt a hoe. Do you hear me? Okay. Ground rules. Men say I want too much, that I'm asking for perfection. That's too much responsibility just for an erection. Not just of your pineal gland, my orgasm at hand begins way before we hit the bed. Way before we get naked, it's in our eyes how they speak. The bravery you allowing me to see you weak, we mutually meek, seek to achieve higher peaks than those conquered in between the sheets. Don't get it twisted, I want to be your freak. I just don't want to fuck a dummy. It leaves you so incomplete. My goodness is to be deserved, not based on time, but action. Not based on potential, but satisfaction. So simple to satisfy if you just comply with my simple needs, compliments and consideration. Don't take much to feed the female ego. I'm full aware of the holes at every corner store and every form of tryst, but when you in my presence, them bitches don't exist. It's just about having regard for how I feel. I understand the appeal. I'm not blind. Even if I was, I would still feel the auras, the spirits, the energy so strong you're damn near faint. You can always recognize nigga, but use some restraint. Let all your desire be for me. If you constantly looking for greener grass, then why should I be free? Free to love on you real good, like on the hood of your car in the Publix parking lot, freaking you whenever I get hot, random fellatio on the spot. In a stairwell on your way to work, screaming how good it hurts, marathon love making sections, fuck my legs, my whole body jerks. Sensual seizures created by the manifestation of genius, Caucasian men popularize, but black men have mastered cunnilingus. I need it. It's a priority. The zenith to the female majority. Ain't nothing like it in the world to flicker your tongue against my pearl, and you ain't done when I come. The fun's just begun. You don't even slack up until I'm on the run, sighing and moaning, pulling the sheets off the bed. Nigga, you know you got some fire head. But that's what keeps me twisted. You know you can't be resisted. And I'd be remiss if I allowed this opportunity to pass. It's hard to give up this ass when I'm struggling for cash. See, I need a man who sees a need and meets it, delivers, Man of his word who keeps it sacred. Holds me so high when I hurt, he peeps it. Never wants me to feel worried, scared, defeated, or depleted by the demons that dwell and attack. Always a killing season, especially when our joy and prosperity is detected. I need a man well armored, wealthy, because he's spiritually connected. It's reflected in the life he lives, the lies he doesn't tell, the smile he gives, the effort to know me well. I'm not asking for a fairy tale, but dreams come true. All I'm asking for, baby, is the best of you.
From New Orleans, Louisiana, by way of Dallas, LGB.
I need your help. I have an addiction I cannot fight by myself. You see, I realized I have a horrible habit. You see, I'm an addict. And this addiction causes me to spend money I don't have. When this addiction takes over, I'm at the mercy of his wrath. And to this addiction, even my kids have been exposed. And will they be addicts also? Only God knows. You see, I'm coming to you from the heart. And I hope you don't be like me, addicted to Walmart. You see, I sit in my car and count the money I'm going to spend. But all that changes as soon as I walk in, because they shows me that they care. They have somebody saying, welcome to Walmart, meaning they want me there. They want me to stay. And when I leave, somebody tells me, have a nice day. I've never seen nobody do the type of things they can do. I walked out with 35 items and only went to buy 2. And I tell myself over and over, you only came to buy soda, you only came to buy soda, and maybe something to eat. I wanted some McDonald's French fries and walked out with a bedspread and king-size sheets. And I asked myself, why buy a comforter set in the month of July? But it looks so soft. And by being in summertime, it was half price off. But that's no excuse. I must stop this abuse to my bank account. Oh, Lord. HD TVs, 20% off the regular amount. Oh, they done went too far. But I done spent all my cash. But the credit card is in my car. Wait, I must get a grip, get a hold of myself. I can't buy milk and eggs and nothing else. This darn Walmart. And all the money they make, y'all, why can't I get a decent shopping cart? I push straight, but it goes to the right, knocking everything down, and the wheels are always broken, making that sound. And sometimes I get so excited, it'd be hard to breathe, because Walmart makes us buy stuff we don't even need. I bought 4 brand new bar stools and don't even have a bar. I bought 4 brand new tires and don't even have a car. You can buy clothes, food, furniture in the same place, but honestly, it's that little yellow smiley face, cause he just the nicest. He always tell me he gonna roll back the prices. And one time it got so bad, my ex-girlfriend even said, Lord knows I love you, LGB, but if you spend one more dime in that store, I kill you dead. That girl loved me with all her heart, but she left me because I was addicted to Walmart.
Certainly at times it's easier to throw in the towel, and as a mother and teacher, Telesa Hines is a true example of faith and resilience.
Many poets and artists in general have this stigma on them that you have to struggle. As a being with breath in you, you weren't put here to suffer. You were put here to live your best life. I'm living my best life. I'm living in the house of my dreams that I purchased a week ago here in Atlanta. I drive a brand new car that when I purchased that car, the miles that were on it, I put on it in the test drive. And I am also by day a kindergarten teacher because I chose a profession that would give me the benefits that artistry wouldn't, but allows me to still be a creative. So I dismissed that whole starving artist thing. It's not romantic at all. I have a son who's 12 years old. One of the things that I always reiterate to him kind of stems from the Eminem song, you only get one shot, do not miss your chance to blow. You know, I always let him know that when you have an intent to put out good in the universe, that's what you're going to attract back. Now, I don't know any poet that doesn't want to inspire, uplift, encourage, but for me, it's about leaving behind a legacy. The one question I consistently ask myself is, what do I want to leave you with? Feeling like you can do anything. It's all about your thinking. Your thinking can be your wings or it can be your anchor. It's up to you to make the choice.
From Atlanta, Telesa Hines.
I heard a singing poet say, faith ain't got no eyes, but she got long legs. And I imagine she used those long legs to hurdle invisible bridges over raging rivers of hate. Waterfalls of doubt and insecurity splashing against tongues for shores to spew that hatred right back. I am that woman with long legs and no eyes. I gouged out my own eyes like Samson was done by the Philistines, because they kept staring at that old bridge, telling me it couldn't hold the weight of me. Staring at that old bridge, telling me it was too rickety. Staring at that old bridge, telling me the river would swallow me. But my legs kept saying, that old bridge don't matter, just jump. My feet kept saying, we ain't gonna worry about the next step, we just gonna take this here step. And when that river kept raging up at me, making them old weary eyes believe the world hated me, this voice began to whisper to me through lines of poetry. He said, if you let me be your eyes, you won't need this old bridge. He said, your skin will never be too dark for me to love, and your hair ain't too kinky to rest against my cheek. He said they hate you because they ain't you, but you love them for they know not what they do. So keep writing them little poems in that little book of yours, because I got some things I want to tell the world, and that's how I'm going to deliver it. He said, tell all them little dark girls they beautiful. From the moment they was conceived, I created them to look just like me. They don't need to add or take away. They beautiful just like they was made. And you, my love, keep writing them little poems in that little book of yours. That husky, gritty voice whispered in my ear, so I use them long legs to leap over fear and keep on stepping on them stages, sharing the love from them pages. And sometimes it's no more than 10 people in the place, but I still lift my voice in poem until their applause reaches the decibel of 10,000. And sometimes there is no pay, but I still get on that stage. And sometimes it's far away, but I just keep driving and thanking God for grace in my gas tank. But one time I fell in that river, and the river became my home. I was a mermaid, half fish and half man, half in the word and half in the world, like a lukewarm Christian. The river gave me liquor and I drank it, but the whisper said, keep writing them little poems in that little book of yours. The river gave me crack and I smoked it, but the whisper said, keep writing them little poems in that little book of yours. The river raped me and made me think I deserved it, but the whisper said, keep writing them little poems in that little book of yours. The river said, oh, nobody's come here to die, because birds of a feather flock together, but the whisper said, just right. The river said, come, lay down with me, and I screamed, I'm drowning. The river said, that's what you came here to do, and I screamed, I'm dying. The river said, that's what I brought you here to do, and I screamed, help me. The river said, girl, ain't nobody studying you. And I screamed, where is that whisper? And the river said, see, even that whisper done left you. The river said, and I remember that voice in my head reminding me to write. So I began to write in words. Words became oxygen. Words breathed life back into me. Words exalted me up until I found myself floating over an invisible bridge with no eyes and long legs. And the whisper said, see, keep writing them little poems in that little book of yours. Right about that time you thought you was drowning. Tell all them little dark girls they beautiful, but make sure you tell them that they is enough.
Thank y'all for coming out. Peace and love. Good night.